Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlet, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. You can join us each and every day throughout your work week on Comcast Channel 15 and on AT&T Channel 99 for you cable subscribers, as well as on the web for those that aren't subscribed to cable or aren't in our community but want to keep up to date with Greater West Bloomfield each and every day. CivicCenterTV.com is the place to go. In addition, you can find us online. Today we're on Facebook, on our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on the Facebook page of the J, formerly known as the Jewish Community Center of Metropolitan Detroit. Sarah Allyn from the J will join us later on in the program, and we thank them for joining us on today's edition of The Splash Live. In addition, you can also find us on YouTube each and every day, both live and on demand immediately after the show on youtube.com. Just search Civic Center TV Greater West Bloomfield, and you'll find our page on YouTube each and every day. That includes The Splash Live, as well as other original programming, such as West Bloomfield High School football or other live events that we're covering all throughout the Greater West Bloomfield area. In addition, as you're driving into work today or driving home from work or running errands throughout the community, you can always tune in on 89.3 Lakes FM and online on lakesfm.com. as well. Dayan, a cool start to the week, very cloudy on Monday. Looks like things are going to start to clear up, but more of the same temperature-wise. Give us the latest weather report.
That is true, Tyler. More agreeable weather is coming ahead of us during this week. For Tuesday today, we're experiencing partly cloudy skies throughout the day. It might clear up a little bit as we go into the day and into the evening, but it is mostly cloudy with the highs of 68 and lows of 49. And as we go into Wednesdays, similar conditions with regards to clouds. 64 is our highs and 8 is our lows. And as we go into Thursday, as we're approaching the end of the week, Tyler, the weather's going to get a little bit better. More sunshine, but also partly cloudy skies, highs of 67 and lows of 48. So much better than what we experienced yesterday, Tyler, with regards to the rain. Hopefully no rain towards the end of the week and in our midweek.
Yeah, initial forecasts had actually shown there was going to be midweek rain and then sun throughout the rest of the week. Now that forecast sort of looking a little bit sunnier than it had been before. Similar temperatures, though, feeling a lot more like fall in our community and beyond as of late. Plenty making headlines today across the Greater West Bloomfield community on the football gridiron. West Bloomfield ranking in the top 5 in the Associated Press's first Michigan high school football rankings. We'll tell you exactly where they rank, as well as others on their schedule, including their opponents for this week, Friday, all of whom are in the top 10 in the AP rankings. Get your library card. September is library card registration month. We'll give you details on that, plus what you get when you have a library card for the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce is emphasizing leadership and partnership in the month of September. They have a great event coming up. We will be live at that event and give you more details on when you can attend this event, how you can register for it, and what's going to be happening at their leadership breakfast later on in the program. September is Suicide Prevention Month. The Yellow Rose campaign is an effort by our local fire department, including West Bloomfield's fire department, to reduce the stigma around mental health within our rank and file of our firefighters and within the community. We'll give you details on how the West Bloomfield Fire Department is participating in the Yellow Rose campaign, plus how you can get involved in a discussion on suicide prevention and mental health awareness in our community this week with our friends over at the Farmington Hills Police Department, as well as partnering organizations all throughout the community. Then later on, the JCC of Metropolitan Detroit is rebranding as the J. Sarah Allyn from their team will join us to talk about the rebrand and all the services provided still at the J, including today. Crafting at the Community Center coming up in the prettiest little city in Michigan. We'll tell you how you can participate in Sylvan Lake this week. Plus, get ready and set your calendars for the official start of fall in Sylvan Lake later on this fall, coming up in October. We'll tell you when and where that is occurring. The Water Resources Commissioner's Office has announced that student art contest that is underway, how your kids can get involved and also help protect our local waterways. Oakland County is hosting a variety of different listening sessions at locations all across the local area to discuss the opioid crisis in our community and how our local government institutions can address those issues in our community each and every day. We'll give you details on how you can participate in those listening discussions this week and in the near future later on in the program, plus a special visit from one of our U.S. representatives to the greater West Bloomfield community earlier on this week. All those headlines and more coming up and will be discussed on today's edition of The Splash Live. As always, you can join us on Civic Center TV on 89.3 Lakes FM and across social media, including today with our partners at the J, the newly branded Jewish Community Center of Metropolitan Detroit. More of your stories from your hometown on your community media outlet coming up next on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Watch West Bloomfield Lakers season long on 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV. Join Tyler Kieft and Matt Catoni each week for live, in-depth, and exclusive coverage before, during, and after the big game. It's your local high school football team on the road and in your backyard on your home for West Bloomfield Laker football, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlets, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. We're also happy to be joined today by our friends at the J, the newly branded Jewish Community Center of Metropolitan Detroit. We'll dive more into that later on in the program with their COO, Sarah Allyn. In the meantime, let's go into some of these stories making news today in our local area. The West Bloomfield High School football team off to a hot start in their 2023-24 season. 3 wins to start the Zach Hilbers era, beating Chippewa Valley, then Birmingham Groves, both on the road. And last week, a big victory in a very tight game against Rochester Hills Stony Creek at the Swamp, the first of just 3 home games for the L-Boys in 2023. And that sets up a really big game on Friday, even bigger now that for the first time this season, the Associated Press has released their official rankings of the Michigan high school football teams, their top 10s in each division. And in Division 1, West Bloomfield very highly ranked, coming in at number 3 overall in Division 1 in the MHSAA per these rankings. Others that were ranked in the top 10 include perennial rivals for West Bloomfield and perennial contenders in their own right. 2-time defending champion Belleville Tigers, who are nationally ranked in the top 25 and were nationally ranked coming into the season in the top 25 as well. They remain the number 1 team in the state of Michigan in this first official ranking from the Associated Press. But others on that list include an opponent we'll see at home later on in the season in the penultimate regular season game, Southfield A&T, coming into these rankings at number 6 overall. as well as Utica Eisenhower, a team we've seen a couple times over the last few years. They are tied for number 10 in the rankings. Cass Tech, the team that knocked the Lakers out of the playoffs last season in the first game of the playoffs at home, they received some top 10 votes, but ultimately did not fall inside the top 10, just on the outside looking in. That being said, you could presume they are at the very least a top 15 team if they were to expand those rankings out. Others that are in this top 10 include someone we'll be seeing in just a few days. The Lake Orion Dragons also off to a very hot start behind Caden DeGraffenreid and Billy Roberson and other stars on their team on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side as well. Having a great season so far, coming off a home win against Oxford. They'll see the Lakers come to town on Friday, and Lake Orion ranked in the top 10 in their own right, number 9 overall. So this is a top 10 matchup for the Lakers coming up on Friday night. Some uncertain terms of what our broadcast may or may not be on Friday night. We are actively working those details out with the team over at Lake Orion High School, and we'll keep you updated throughout the week on that. But in the meantime, you can get even more analysis into the football team as they approach this huge game, this top 10 matchup on Friday, by watching This Week in Laker Football. Premiered on Monday night. The new episode premiered on Monday night. It's currently available on CivicCenterTV.com and on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV, and you can find that and watch it all throughout the day. Also check our listings on CivicCenterTV.com for airing times all throughout the day, including at 12:30 after each morning edition of the Splash Live. And you can find it throughout the afternoon after our afternoon editions and evening editions as well, leading up to the big game on Friday. So good news for the Lakers as they're off to a hot start in 2023. You can be off to a hot start to your fall too by having just one additional item in your pocket, a library card. September is library card sign-up month from institutions all across our local community, and that includes the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. It's labeled as West Bloomfield Township, but it actually covers all 4 of our communities. Residents in the Tri-Cities are also eligible through partnerships between the Tri-Cities and West Bloomfield Township in order to qualify for a library card at our local library. That's both branches, the main branch at the West Bloomfield Town Hall Complex just off of Walnut Lake Road, as well as the West Acres branch off of Pontiac Trail, both available across the community. These library cards give you a lot of access. And that's not just the old days where you get a library card that allows you to check out books and return books, and it lets them know if you've returned a book late, and they'll incur fines on your account, and they'll know where you live and send you a bill. Those days are gone. Now you get access to books, to videos, to games, to technology, to spaces within the library too. It's a great place to hold meetings or study sessions for kids in college or even in high school. Get your library card, you get access to all of that. Books, study spaces, meeting rooms, videos, games, and online resources that are great for students, great for teachers, and more. And again, this is all available to West Bloomfield and Tri-Cities residents. So West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake Village all invited to get their library card through West Bloomfield Township. A couple ways you can do that. WBLIB.org, that is their website, WBLib.org, or by stopping in at either their main branch or their West Acres branch. And Dayan, today, so many people may not think it's necessarily important to have a library card, but with all these different resources that are available and available for free, this is actually continues to be a critical resource in our community. And for those that maybe don't have access to the internet, it can be even more critical to them. That means bill payments, that means job applications, and staying up to date on all the information they need to know in their local area.
That is true, Tyler. I mean, nowadays, again, as you said, there is a lot of digital resources. Library cards are not what it used to be. You don't just go in and try to rent the book and then return it back. There's a wealth of resources, whether it's ebooks, and we've talked about this before. The West Bloomfield Township Library is providing ebooks for children and definitely for older adults. They're providing some supplemental readings for children who are in school right now, to help them with whatever they need, whether it's math or English. So it's a lot of valuable resources, of course. And you mentioned, Tyler, other things they can benefit from getting those getting those library cards, whether it's gaming stuff, whether it's just reading that you want to do, or go into the library and just enjoy some books and readings. This is a great way to do so. A great way to encourage people also to get back on track during this fall after a summer of probably, if they were kind of like me, they probably barely touched any book. They just tried to enjoy the summer and the sun. But now as we go back into fall, it's a nice way to get back and a nice way to get your feet dipped in some cool books, you know, whether it's for your kids or for yourself.
And it's a great facility too there. And you talk about the kids area. It's one of the icons of that library. There's a specific wing that is just for kids. You go through this little door, and it's little for us adults, but for the kids, it's like the perfect size. And I remember being a kid going through that section of the West Bloomfield Library. It seemed like the biggest entrance in the world at that point in time. It's really cool. The kids will love it. And there's also, puppets and other play areas available for the kids. There's a computer area specifically for the kids. Often they do have educational games that are very fun on those computers in that area. Books and other reading materials available for the kids. It's a great place to take the family, or just to go on a nice rainy day and enjoy a book, or whether you check it out or just start reading and sort of explore different materials. And all of that is free with your West Bloomfield Township library card, and you can access that wblib.org, or stop in at their main branch or West Acres branch and talk to the friendly people there as well. And one more point that just popped up in my head as we're wrapping this story up, Diane, is the senior community. A lot of our life today relies on technology. This is stuff that still is relatively new to parts of our senior community, or continues to develop at such a rapid rate that, maybe you learn one device or you learn one system and then a new one pops up. Very friendly staff at the library also to help you out with technology for people of all ages that need some help learning about the resources that are available to them on the web, and the resources that are available to them by using certain devices that are commonplace in our society today. Other resources that you'll have access to include leadership and entrepreneurship advice from business experts in our local community through the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. They have a great event coming up that you can participate in, get some of your questions answered, and learn a lot of lessons from people of varying success and varying business sectors in our community with our friends at the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Their annual leadership breakfast is coming up on September 27th at 8:30 a.m. at the Wabeek Country Club. This will feature a speaking opportunity to hear from Casey Crane from Crane Communications and Roop Raj from Fox 2 News in Detroit. They will talk about leadership in business. They'll talk about using media, leveraging media in order to expand your business in the business landscape today. Plus, you'll have opportunities to ask them questions that maybe pertain to your business or where your business is at. Some advice on how to continue to grow your business in uncertain economic times, and times where our society, with technology and with other circumstances, continues to develop in a million different ways. These are people that are seeing that are hearing these stories every single day. And in the case of Casey Crane, operating a very successful communications business, and in the case of Roop Raj, being someone heavily involved in communications in our community and media in our community with his work at Fox 2 News in Detroit, can give you some great advice. Plus, it's an opportunity to connect with other leaders in our community in the business sector, businesses that may be able to partner with yours for even more success in our local community partnership, a huge part of what goes into the work done by the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Here's a few different ways you can participate. The first is to take a quick pause with me and hydrate as we talk more about this story. And now also you can participate in person by registering on westbloomfieldchamber.com/conversation. You got to do that by next week. September 21st. You have 9 more days at this point to register for this event. Thursday of next week, 1 week from Thursday, is the deadline to register for that in-person event. Again, it is Wednesday, September 27th at 8:30 a.m. at Wabeek Country Club. And you can also participate by joining us online. If you're unable to attend the event, you can join us. We'll have a live broadcast from the event. We'll have some of the speeches also live on our program. We'll talk to business leaders. We'll talk to Casey Crane and Roop Raj about participating in something like this and helping our local business community continue to develop So if you're unable to attend, you can attend with us on our Facebook page, on the Facebook page of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, and all the different places you regularly find the Splash live every single day through Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. That being said, this is a great event to attend for your business. It is $55 for tickets for members of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, but non-members, prospective members, or just people that are interested in learning some of these techniques and learning some of this advice from experts in our community can also attend for $65 per ticket. westbloomfieldchamber.com/conversation is the place to go for that. And Dayan, a great opportunity for people to learn a lot of different things about operating their business, about improving their business in our community, and to get their questions answered by experts that, in many other situations, they may not otherwise have access to conversations with.
That is true, Tyler. It's a great opportunity for people in our community to go in there and ask all the questions that you need, especially when it comes to communications, Tyler. It's a great umbrella term for anybody interested in marketing or public relations or even in media with Rupraj. I mean, what a better opportunity than going in there and asking them personal questions about how they made it, what are the best steps or the best ways to take to get to where you want to get. So great opportunity for anybody in our community that wants to go into their field or wants to own a business or trying to create their own business. So definitely, as you said, Tyler, a great opportunity for everyone.
And plenty more opportunities if you're not able to attend that event with other events through the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce and other initiatives such as the Women's Inspiration Network, the Business Innovation Generator, the Senior Resource Group, and so much more. westbloomfieldchamber.com, the place to go for that. We'll take a short break on the Splash Live. On the other side, we will focus on mental health with our friends at the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department, as well as other partnering organizations and first responders in our local community that will be holding a forum later on this week in Farmington Hills. All of those details coming up very soon. It's your home for your stories on your community media outlets, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. The Splash Live continues after this.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlets, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. You can also join us online on our website, civiccentertv.com. That will give you links to our Facebook page and our YouTube page, where you can also join us live every single day for our program. And today, we're also streaming live on the Facebook page of what was formerly the Jewish Community Center of Metropolitan Detroit and is now known as the J. Sarah Allyn from the J will join us in just a few minutes to talk about their rebranding and all the exciting news coming up within their organization. Currently, we're going to focus for a few minutes on mental health in our community. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and that begins community by community on the grassroots level, preventing these tragedies in our community by supporting the mental health of each and every one of our neighbors in our local area and those that we interact with each and every day. And that includes our first responders. The West Bloomfield Township Fire Department is one of many in our local area and across the state of Michigan and even across the United States that's participating in what's known as the Yellow Rose campaign. This is a campaign to address and destigmatize mental health within the ranks of firefighters and other first responders, but also promoting culture of support in our local community so that people understand what the signs of suicidal ideations may be or mental health struggles may be, how they can best help people in their local area, whether it's friends or family or acquaintances or just people you're seeing on a day-to-day basis, being mindful of everybody's mental health struggles in some regards and others. They look different for every person, and the Yellow Rose campaign aiming at providing that sort of information and support to our local fire departments. We had a recent interview with Chief Greg Flynn. I highly encourage you to watch it on CivicCenterTV.com on our on-demand page or on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV. And you can also support the Yellow Rose campaign and all of its efforts to provide greater resources to our firefighters and also to our fire departments to provide greater resources to the entire local community by visiting YellowRoseCampaign.com. They do have t-shirts and other garments that are available that represent the Yellow Rose campaign, much like you're seeing on your screen with our firefighters wearing their special West Bloomfield Township Fire Department t-shirts that have their logo be redesigned to have the Yellow Rose campaign badge on it. As you're seeing that, or if you're seeing it later on CivicCenterTV.com for your t-shirt to order or to ask questions about the Yellow Rose campaign. Yellow Rose campaign invoicing at gmail.com, and you'll be messaging Greg, who is in fact the fire chief here in the greater West Bloomfield area for the West Bloomfield Township and the Tri-City Fire Departments. Greg Flynn, a huge advocate of the Yellow Rose campaign through the Michigan Association of Fire Chiefs. And again, highly encourage you to watch our recent interview with him that talks about mental health within the ranks of our local fire departments, how they are using the Yellow Rose campaign and those efforts to change the way that mental health is approached within the rank and file of our firefighters, and how that also parallels mental health awareness and mental health assistance in our local community. Dayan, something very important that we continue to recognize and continue to put forth efforts to destigmatize. Over the last few years with the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw the toll that that took on mental health in our community and really opened a lot of people's eyes to how a lot of others feel on a regular basis when we're in so-called normal times. And this is one of those different campaigns in our community that helps to raise that awareness and also the sensitivity to mental health issues in our local area and beyond.
Tyler, actually, I just want to say something before I comment on the whole campaign. I just want to say a yellow rose symbolizes unity, friendship, and warmth. And this is exactly what this campaign is about. It's telling people that it is okay to tell us all about how you're suffering or what's going on with you. It is okay to you don't have to suffer alone, and we already talked about this. You don't really have to suffer alone. Talk about it. It's starting the conversation, showing people that you care enough about them to be there and support them in their journey to healing. As Chief Greg said, and you mentioned that, Tyler, before, we did have an interview with Chief Greg. He said that it is just like any other disease, and it can be fixed if you find the right help. And that's where we need to start. We need to start having those conversations. This is what these campaigns are all about, whether it's the firefighting campaign at our paramedics or other campaigns going on in our community. It's starting the conversation to foster a sense of hope and to give those people an environment where they feel that they're comfortable enough to talk about what's going on with them. So I think this is a great campaign, Tyler, not only for our paramedics, but for everyone who is suffering from mental health illness, that is getting them to think about suicide, which is honestly, it's like the epitome or it's like reaching the highest form of mental illness. So this is where we need to help our people and foster a sense of community and talk to them all about it, showing them that we do really care.
YellowRoseCampaign.com for more information on that and to learn more about how our local fire departments are addressing mental health in our communities, even within their own ranks. You can watch our interview with Greg Flynn on Civic Center TV.com. Another great way to engage in conversations about mental health and learn more about the signs of suicidal ideations or mental health issues such as anxiety and depression and others in our community is to participate in conversations with members of your community. There is a great conversation of that like happening on Thursday in Farmington Hills at the Hawk Community Center at 5:30 p.m. That's at 29995 West 12 Mile Road in the auditorium at the Hawk Community Center, held by the Farmington Hills Police Department. But there's plenty of other partners from different institutions across our local area, as well as nonprofits in the mental health space, including, of course, Farmington Hills Police Chief Jeff King will be leading that discussion. He'll also be joined by Southfield Police Chief Elvin Berry, Detroit Police Chief James White, Wayne County Sheriff Raphael Washington, as well as other police chiefs from across institutions in our local area in southeastern Michigan. In addition, health institutions such as Corewell Health will be on site, and nonprofits, including the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and more, will also be at this event. You can find more information by contacting the Farmington Hills Police on their non-emergency number. That is at 248-871-2750 or contact their event coordinator PG at 248-832-2799. And again, this event is happening from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, September 14th at the Hawk Community Center in Farmington Hills. Diane, another great way for people to engage in these sorts of conversations and see from a variety of different angles from both nonprofits that have seen a lot of and heard a lot of these stories come through over the years and have worked with individuals and worked with families and worked with groups of friends to help address mental health with individuals in their lives, but also our local law enforcement that are often the first to respond to people in distress in our communities.
That is true, Tyler. Again, as I said, the most important thing when it comes to mental health is starting the conversation. So talking to these people who may be suffering, and you also mentioned that there's going to be some health organizations over there. So it's a lot of resources in one place, talking about the same topics, trying to help all those people, and trying not only to help those people, trying also to help our community manage or talk or help other people, right? Our community members. It's trying to help us help other people as well. So it is a great event to attend. There's a lot of resources. You mentioned the Corewell Health, a lot of other health organizations, and some public safety figures and partners. They're going to talk all about mental health and how to support people that are suffering in our community.
You can find more information on this by just searching for Farmington Hills Police Department community forum, or by visiting cngnews.com. That's our local newspapers. That includes the West Bloomfield Beacon and others in communities throughout our local area. The Farmington Press had an article on this by Mark Best. Highly encourage you to read that to get even more details on this event. And again, you can participate Thursday this week, September 14th, at the Hawk Community Center from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. in Farmington Hills. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll talk about a great resource in our community for recreation and fun, and they are rebranding. The JCC of Detroit is now known as the J. We'll explain the rebrand next and get questions on services and some very, very special news from that organization with Sarah Allyn, their COO, coming up next on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
you're so sad? You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlet, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM, where you can also join us today on the Facebook page of the Jewish Community Center of Metropolitan Detroit, now known as simply the J. It's a great place for culture, for arts, for education, and for athletics, and so much more. And they're undergoing a rebrand, now known as the J. Joining us to talk about the rebranding of this community organization, it's been a staple of the Greater West Bloomfield area for decades, is Sarah Allyn, the COO of the J. Sarah, thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Tyler. Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this new era in your organization's history. It's been an organization that has been a beacon of community engagement for a number of years. It's been known for most of those years as the Jewish Community Center of Metropolitan Detroit. It's been based right here in West Bloomfield, just a little ways down the road from us at Civic Center TV. And per your information, over 50% of the Jewish community has some level of engagement with its programs. But it's not just the Jewish community that these programs are open to. And a lot of people do participate in these programs from both within and outside of the Jewish community. So take us through this rebranding from the JCC of Detroit to now just simply the J.
Well, I think the biggest piece of this rebrand is this idea that community is no longer necessarily built in a specific place, at a specific piece of real estate or a specific geographic location. That may have been true 100 years ago. It may have been true 50 years ago, but the world has really changed thanks to the pandemic, thanks to technology, thanks to social media. People can find their community and find their center anywhere. And so the J is shifting its paradigm to address the needs of the community. While we are still at the D. Dan and Betty Kahn building out in West Bloomfield at Maple and Drake, there's still many activities and experiences to be had over at that campus. You can also find our programming across the community, whether it's at a public park, at a synagogue, at the cider mill. We invite you to find your center with us, wherever that may be.
And that's all what this rebranding is about. It seems like it's very much focused on encouraging people to participate in whatever is of their interest, and that they can do that across the community. And part of that is some very exciting news about your expansion too. Not just going to have these programs primarily based at the Jewish Community Center location, formerly Jewish Community Center location in West Bloomfield, but also a new location coming to another part of Oakland County.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's true that the Jewish community has moved geographically, spread out a bit, and our community is moving over east and a little bit south. And so we wanted to really be able to reach people where they were and to make sure that that geography or distance is not going to be a barrier to participating in our programming. And like you said, not just the Jewish community, but the broader community. And so we are extremely excited to be looking at a space in Berkeley. It will be a flexible, programmatic space where folks can come to take a class or play mahjong or have a cup of coffee. And we're looking at that space opening up in early 2025.
And where in Berkeley, is there a location already determined, or is that also something that could be that's to be determined down the line?
There is a location. We're very excited. We're gonna wait to share specific details, but it's along the Woodward corridor in Berkeley.
More information can be found in the coming months on their Facebook page. They're joining us today on their Facebook page, and we are welcome to have the J with us on today's edition of the Splash Live. Sarah Allyn joins us on the program, the COO of the J. Their new taglines now: find your Jewish center and no need to join because you already belong. Take us through that part of the rebranding to these new taglines. There's really two slogans that coincide with one another, but also provide some different messages for people that use these different centers and go to these different activities for a variety of different reasons each and every day.
Sure. So the first, find your Jewish center or find your center, really speaks to the fact that we are no longer rooted in a specific piece of real estate at a specific location. We have programming in person, online, out in the community. So we want you to find your center, find your Jewish center, find the programming that speaks to you, that connects you to the community. And maybe it's not at a specific place. Maybe it's not in West Bloomfield, or maybe it is. So our first tagline is really about looking within and figuring out how we can connect you to what is meaningful to you personally and to your community. And that second tagline speaks to a major paradigm shift for us: no need to join because you already belong. Many JCCs across the country are still rooted in a membership model where you pay a monthly or an annual membership fee by households, and that gives you access to the programming there, like a club, like a country club. Our programming does not require any sort of annual membership. We have lots of programming that is absolutely free to participate in. We have programming that requires a drop-in fee or tuition or a programming fee, but no membership required. We want to be an open tent. We want to be accessible to whoever wants to join us. And that's why our new tagline is no need to join because you already belong. We really want everybody to feel like they belong to the J.
You can find more information on their website about programs, about different events and amenities available at the J of Metro Detroit right here in the greater West Bloomfield community by visiting jccdet.org or their Facebook page at jcc.detroit. Joining us is Sarah Allyn, the COO of the J, as we talk about the rebranding of this organization and all their great programming across the community, and soon also to be based out of Berkeley in the coming months and years as well. Sarah, as we talk about all the variety of different programs that are at the J, for those that have passed by the building in West Bloomfield, maybe they've seen the Berman Center, they've seen the playground and the Tree Runner Park that's on that campus, or they've driven by on Maple Road and looked over and seen the pool all vibrant and lively outside during the summer. Tell us about the many varieties of programming that are available all throughout the year at the J's locations, and as you mentioned earlier, off-site as well.
Sure. So our programming really falls into four big buckets. We have culture and education, we have programming for seniors, we have programming for children and families, and we have recreational programming. So culture and education includes our Berman Theater for the Performing Arts, which has a robust and professional annual lineup of shows. We have the Janice Cherrick Art Gallery that has about half a dozen exhibits every year. They are absolutely world-class art exhibits, and they are open to the public when the building is open. We also have adult education classes. They are Jewish classes, but you don't have to be Jewish to sign up for a JLearn class. Oftentimes we get folks who are just interested in the learning and the history and the culture. We have seminars for adult Jewish enrichment. Again, same as JLearn. You don't have to be Jewish to participate. Our senior programming includes movement classes for seniors, art classes for seniors. We have a fantastic J Traveler program that encourages seniors to participate in trips, day trips, weekend trips, overnight trips. And there's more senior programming on the horizon. Our kids and families programming includes a phenomenal early childhood center, the Pitt Early Education Center, that serves families with children ages 0 to 5. Really an excellent, excellent program. Again, rooted in Judaism, but open to folks who are not Jewish. The JCC Day Camp serves kids 5 all the way through young adulthood. We have a phenomenal special needs program that serves kids through young adults with special needs in the summertime, but also we have break camp programming. We have special needs programming that goes out into the community and provides services to children with special needs out in the community. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. A major kid and family program is the Maccabi Games, the JCC Maccabi Games, sort of like the Olympics for Jewish teenagers, and Detroit is proudly hosting in 2024. And then that last bucket of programming is our recreational programming. We have rec leagues, inline hockey, basketball. We also have a fantastic drop-in fitness center. So for a day pass, a very reasonable fee, you can come on in and play pickleball, drop-in basketball. We have a lovely fitness center. And of course, we have the outdoor pool in the summertime, which is open to anybody in the community for a summer pass or a drop-in pass. It's a beautiful pool with a lovely grill and an outdoor space, and we invite the entire community to come check it out.
More information on all the JCC's programs, now known as the J, can be found on jccdet.org or by following them on Facebook at jcc.detroit. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you on. The JCC of Metro Detroit is now known as the J, and you can find more information on jccdet.org or follow them as you have been today, along with our program on Facebook at jcc.det. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. More of your stories from your hometown on your community media coming up next. Stay tuned. You're watching and listening to the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Watch West Bloomfield Lakers football all season long on 89.3 Lakers FM and Civic Center TV. Join Tyler in-depth and exclusive coverage before, during, and after the big game. It's your local high school football team on the road and in your backyard on your home for West Bloomfield Laker football, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlet, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. We thank you also for joining us today on our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, on the Facebook page of the J of Detroit at JCC.Detroit, as well as for joining us on 89.3 Lakes FM and on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV. You can always find us also on civiccentertv.com. Find our full episodes on demand and each segment as well, so you can share those, and we encourage you to share those for the latest news and information all across our local community. That includes fun events coming up, including in just a couple of days at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. For all of you art lovers, they're seeking some crafty people to share their talent and knowledge with their neighbors in a couple hours of crafting at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. This is going to be a monthly meeting of different people for Sylvan Lake Craft Night, including this Thursday, 6:30 at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. It is a monthly meeting, but registration is closing quickly. Only 11 spots available for this particular event at the Community Center. In order for you to participate, you do need to RSVP in advance by sending Mary Bowman an email at mrsbman or Miss Bman at AOL.com. MRSBMAN at AOL.com. Another great way to get more information on this is to subscribe to the Sylvan Lake newsletter by going to sylvanlake.org to get more information. It's also a great place to go to find information on other events coming up in the next few weeks as we dive into the fall season. And coming up, it's been announced, it's official. The official start of fall in Sylvan Lake is on its way. The Jan Hayes Pumpkin Patch will be happening on Sunday, October 1st from 12 noon to 4 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. This is going to be a whole lot of fun and fall fun and right down the street from your home in the prettiest little city in Michigan. There's, of course, going to be the pumpkin patch where you can get a bunch of pumpkins to decorate your home or make those jack-o'-lanterns just about 30 days before the Halloween holiday. A giant pumpkin will also be raffled off at this event, plus other fun such as face painting, food, and treats, including hot dogs, cider, and donuts, and more. And again, you can find more information on sylvanlake.org or by joining the Sylvan Lake What's Going On Facebook page if you're a resident of the community or just interested in joining in on events in the community. That's another great resource for more information on events and other happenings in the prettiest little city in the state of Michigan. Again, the Jan Hayes Pumpkin Patch annual event is happening Sunday, October 1st from 12 noon to 4 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Great place to kind of jump to in between going to the West Bloomfield Fire Department's open house on that same day from noon to 3:30 p.m. You can go between the two of them. You can start at one, go to the other, and enjoy all the fall fun on one Sunday afternoon in the greater West Bloomfield community. Also happening now through October is the Water Resources Commission Student Art Contest. This annual competition is already underway, and kids in 4th and 5th grade in Oakland County can participate and send in their works of art. Entries are open now through October 6th, with winners of this year's contest being announced on November 17th. Again, this is open to just 4th and 5th graders in Oakland County, but it is open to students both in public, private, charter, and homeschool situations in our local area. This year, the theme is We Can All Help to keep Oakland County's lakes, rivers, and streams and watersheds clean. Entries should promote how to protect our lakes, our streams, our rivers, and watersheds from pollution, as well as how to conserve water. Here are the requirements. One, it has to be completely done by the students. So parents, you can't do the work for your kids. You can't go filling in the illustrations or drawing the outlines. Your kids got to do the work on their own, and it needs to be submitted using a plain white letter-sized piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, the standard printer paper is the perfect canvas in this case for these works of art. And then you got to mail those entries to the Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner's office by October 6th. That you can put the attention on the letter as calendar contest and mail that to 1 Public Works Drive, Building 95W, Waterford, Michigan 48328. Again, that is 1 Public Works Drive, Building 95W, as in William, Waterford, Michigan 48328. And learn more information on oakgov.com/water, including to get a full listing of that address again. oakgov.com/water. And Diane, a great opportunity for kids to participate in a fun contest, learn something along the way, and maybe engage in some of those artistic skills they're learning in the classroom too.
That is true, Tyler. I mean, promoting environmental education, and this is what they're trying to do. This is what the Commissioner's Office is trying to do. They're trying to promote environmental education in the most creative way possible through art. So these young children, as we said, parents, do not get yourselves involved. Let these young children do the drawings, do the illustrations, because in the process, they are learning something new. They are learning how to preserve the water. And it's also a fun activity for them. So not only education, but they're also enjoying themselves. They're trying to get into this competition. They're trying to win. So they're trying to do the best illustrations. And in the process, they get to learn how to preserve our water. And it's honestly, Tyler, this is the greatest way, again, to promote environmentalism, which is something essential that we need to integrate into our education system, especially to these young kids that are going to be the future. So it is a very, very brilliant way that the Commissioner's Office is trying to enhance or make a better future for our young children.
Yeah, we saw earlier on, and Calvin, if you could put that picture up again, we had a picture that was from last year's contest, kind of along the lines of what they're looking for. This was one of those that was awarded last year by the Oakland County Water Resources Commission. This was done by a student at West Hills Middle School, right here in West Bloomfield. Now is the current location of Lone Pine Elementary, but that was done by a kid right here in our community last year on similar themes. So something along the lines of that is kind of what they're looking for. Use your talents, use your creativity, and use your knowledge of science and the arts for good this fall. And kids can participate now through October 6th. Again, oakgov.com/water. for more information. We'll keep things right here and talk about a very important discussion or series of discussions that's coming up in Oakland County. The opioid crisis has taken hundreds of thousands of lives every single year for a long time here in our local area and across the United States. Just between 2020 and 2021, there was a 119.5% increase in synthetic opioid-involved deaths right here in Oakland County, and that put Oakland County, as well as many other municipal governments and other agencies, in the thick of class action lawsuit settlements with companies and other individuals that are responsible in part for the impact of the opioid epidemic on local communities. Oakland County has $35 million coming into the county coffers over the next 20 years as a result of these class action settlements. And so they're holding what they're calling listening sessions to gather input from local residents like you on the impact of the opioid epidemic in our community, as well as ways that they can use some of these funds to address the issue. Those include tomorrow night in Ferndale at Affirmations on 290 West 9 Mile Road from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Another one also on Wednesday night from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Pontiac Public Library, and then next week, Monday, at the Southfield Public Library from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. You can learn more information on these listening discussions, these listening sessions, by visiting oakgov.com or going to the Oakland County Executive's Office's Facebook page as well. Diane, really important that people provide their input and tell exactly how the opioid crisis has been affecting their local area.
That is true, Tyler. This is a very essential topic, and as we know, a lot of people unfortunately lost their lives and lost their children's life or are suffering because of the opioid problem, whether it was something that has been prescribed to them or it was something illegal. So this is a great opportunity to go and get your voices heard, whether you, if you have children, even if you're not suffering from it, even if you weren't someone affected by opioids directly. It is very essential to talk about this. you do have children, we do have people in our community that we would like to help, and we do have these funds, and we want to help our leaders try to use these funds properly, right? So this is a great way to get your voices heard, be there, be involved in your community. This is one of the most essential topics. And for people who don't know, research has shown that in our nation, this is one of the most, this is an epidemic again, Tyler. So this is like one of the most urgent epidemics that America is currently facing.
And so you can get more information on the listening sessions coming up both this week, next week, and in the near future on oakgov.com. Dayan, very quickly, a very special appearance by one of our U.S. leaders in West Bloomfield earlier on this week. Tell us who came into our community.
That is true, Tyler. So representative of the 7th District, Alyssa Slotkin, was right here in West Bloomfield yesterday, and she went all over Oakland County. She had 2 special events in here. And one of the most incredible things she talked about in her on her Twitter post, on her social media, was the post-pandemic community gatherings and how grateful she is. Alyssa mentioned that she was representing our community and our county during the COVID-19 pandemic, and how different it is, and how grateful she is that we got back together. She was able to see all these community members getting back together and enjoying their time again, Tyler. We do take these events for granted. So this is a very, very amazing post that she mentioned, Tyler. I think we did, again, as I said, we did take the post-pandemic events for granted because, hey, we're back, we're so happy right now, but we should always remember to get into our community and get involved again.
Yeah, and great to see our leaders from across the aisle, both Republicans and Democrats, such as Representative Slotkin, getting back into our communities, talking with the people, going to these events and getting to know how the issues that they're talking about in Washington or they're talking about in Lansing are affecting us right here in our community. Plenty of more news and information coming up all throughout the week. We invite you to stay with us here on The Splash Live. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media. The Splash Live will return very soon.